Hello, good morning. Different setting again, a little bit later than expected. And it's good evening for most of you. Might be an intriguing title today. After 65 days, I'm finally talking about why we actually want to wake up. But I was it was drawn to my attention actually about the nuances in this stage that I think is necessary to point out what it really is about, actually, what we're doing here, what we're trying to transform here. And so really understanding the difference between the identified self and the self with a capital S. So the one I'm referring to in the presence state is actually important to really understand now, and to not just understand, embody as well and integrate as well. So yesterday and the day before I talked about frequencies like empowerment and liberation, and those frequencies can only be true and truly felt if it comes from being the self, and not if it comes from the identified self. So there is this vastness of this vastness of actually the field we can connect to when we step outside our identified self. And this vastness, the vastness of this field actually create this high frequency of being fearlessness and being limitlessness. So you need to connect to that field in order to actually make yourself bigger than your physical body is, and feel that you're bigger than your physical body is, and feel that you're connected to all. So, and because you're connected to this collective consciousness, this collective field of where all human beings are part of, in their physical body, but they're more than just a physical body. They're also this energy field of the self, and that's always connected with each other. And being part of that, consciously being part of that field, makes that you can overcome your limiting self. So for those of you who are still challenged by connecting to that state of presence, and even challenged by me talking about the self now, please point it out, perhaps directly in a message to me, or and please explain what it is that you find difficult, or if you have still resistance, or whatever it is you feel, please point it out, because I might be able to rephrase it in another session or point it out differently, because my whole reason for being so excited to work with people on this topic is the fact that it's so simple. Once you get it, you can never deny that field anymore once you connect to that field. And even though it's not always present there, and even though it's not always, even though I get caught up in my identified self, and I'm not 24 hours, 7 days a week, completely in the present state, and just acting from the observer, which is the self, it still is always the point to go back to. So if you want to raise our frequencies, like I said, go back into presence, and from that state, you raise your frequency. And that is the state that's connected to the self. So what the self actually is the fact, and I've shared that before, and I know it was a complicated session, so I'm going to give some attention to it again. The fact that we know that there is a self is because I can observe my own identity. I can observe my own thoughts. I can observe myself, my own behavior, my own thoughts, my own feelings. I can observe that. So who is it that's observing that? And like, for instance, if I can observe this pen, I cannot be the pen. Otherwise, I cannot observe it. I cannot be the same. You cannot be object and subject at the same time. It's the same with my hand, which is a lot more personal in most realities. But if I can observe my hand and can really feel the energy in my hand, like by just focusing on it, and I can, or if I would have pain in my hand, I can observe the fact that I have pain. And then you might say, well, you feel you have pain. Yeah, but you can also observe it, that it's not, that it literally is just pain, not more than that. So if I can observe something, and if I can observe myself, then I cannot be the identified self, because that's what I'm observing. So that what is observing is the self with the capital S. So this is really something you cannot grasp with the mind. You can only sense that difference. And like I said, someone shared me their vision with me, and I rephrased it back in a third person, and that was confusing in a way, I think. So let me give you an example. I said I'm excited about my vision to wake up people. If I would say it's my mission to wake up people, I make it very personal, and it's different from the same statement as people wakening up is my passion or is my vision. It's not so much my mission, people wakening up, because there's no me actually doing anything there other than supporting that process. But it's not my personal goal to be responsible for the fact that everybody's waking up. I can only contribute to that process, and I can only try to reach as many people as possible. So here there's a distinguished difference between, of course, I work as an identified self in this process. I mean, here am I talking as Luciana to you, so this is the identified person. I use that in order to use my brain and my body and my thinking and my experience, my humanly bodily experiences to share my vision with you and my ideas with you. But making my mission in an I sentence that I am going to wake up people, if I would say that I'm going to wake up people, then suddenly I create a huge responsibility for myself, that I am responsible for waking up you. But you're already awake, and I can never be responsible for that. I can only guide or facilitate you in that process and show you a different mirror, like I'm doing in these days. But there are many other experiences in your daily life that contribute to this process, thankfully, because I wouldn't want to carry this on my shoulder, that I'm responsible or feel responsible for waking up everyone in this world or a part of the group or whatever. But the other beauty is about making it in a third person sentence, like people waking up is my purpose, is that I get also out of the tension of winning and losing, and out of the tension of failure and success. Because people waking up is something that process is happening, and I'm part of that process. But I can also see the beauty in all those other teachers who are doing their part from their vision and their experience. So for me, then it will be coming from that state, from the self. It's my purpose, which is truly connected with my heart desire. So it's from my inner self. This is the reason why I'm here on this earth. At least that's how it feels for me now. That it's my passion and my purpose to assist in that process for wakening up this world. And whether I am the one who is contributing the most to that process is not really relevant. The fact that the end result that people are waking up in this world is what I'm excited about. And whomever is assisting them or facilitating them is not really relevant. It doesn't feel relevant. It's just the fact that it's happening is already fulfilling my purpose. And I am only contributing with it that's how I can share myself with I know and with my energy and with my style and with my message and with my way of talking. So I attract those people who resonate with that. So if you have a purpose or a vision to empower other people, then it might help you to say, instead of like, I am empowering other people, or I'm helping other people to empower, it's different than when you say, people being empowered is my purpose. And then you step out this identified self who feels responsible or wants to have a success in this process. So it's a very subtle nuance. And you might say, well, that's really too complicated now for me. But try to open up to this difference. Whether you say, I am responsible for, or I am doing this, versus it is happening. And I'm just a little part of that whole process, or I am just somewhere facilitating that process. And it's okay if other people facilitate that process as well, as long as the more, the merrier, actually. So the more people who empower other people, well, the better the result eventually is. It's not so we get out of this current dynamics of doing business or sharing ourselves in a win-lose situation, and in this competitive tension we mostly find ourselves in. I have to be better than others. I'm competing with another party who's actually doing the same thing, but I'm better. And that energetically, the drive is different, because as soon as the ego comes in, that I want to have success in my business, my energy drops down to a lower level. My frequency drops down. Sorry, not my energy, but my frequency drops down, because then I get into the competitive zone, and that's a lower frequency than the one where I can share myself out of this unconditional position, and I can fully actually see all the beauty in people, and I can just gently mirror them if they're ready for this mirror. But I can also see that my role is only limited, and it's okay to be limited in that. So it feels more like an openness to collaboration instead of competing. Because I trust that from a business perspective, I trust that I will find the people who resonate with my voice and with my message and my way of talking and my way of sharing, and for instance, my practical side on things. It's different from listening to Eckhart Tolle, a spiritual teacher who has his version and his perspective, or his style, you could better say, is very different from mine. So that attracts different people, or it attracts people at a certain time in the journey. Like I was attracted to Eckhart Tolle for a certain time, and I still love his message. It's very, very profound. But I love to add my practical side to it for people to make it really practical in a daily life situation. So in other words, we all contribute to this journey. And if you are in a completely different arena with your purpose and your passion, then the same dynamics actually count. If you step out of this fact that you have to be better than someone else in order to prove yourself, or in order to get success, then you actually dropping down your energy, your frequency. Sorry, I'm saying it wrong again. Your frequency, and that also stops the flow in that process. You can force it for a long time. You can really force that competitive edge for a long time, but eventually it's less flowing than if you coming from a higher frequency. And it needs a lot of trust in yourself, in the self, that your purpose is that what you're here to do. Then trust that you will get the chance to do it. That requires trust. And that's why this connectiveness to the self and being one with the self consciously is so important, because you need that in order to get into this higher frequency. So a lot of people are, for instance, very good at seeing beauty and skills and gifts in other people, and they can really point that out and highlight that, and that gives a lot of confidence to other people. And it's a beautiful role, because we all need that positive mirror, that other people see things in this. So if that's your purpose, and that was actually the one that was shared with me, and that's a beautiful purpose, because that really grows, that let people grow in their self-esteem, then try to feel in if it feels different when you phrase it like, my purpose is people seeing the beauty in themselves or the gifts in themselves, or my purpose is people feeling gifted or feeling empowered or feeling strong. And then what also automatically works, if you phrase it in that way, then it's also something that's actually, your purpose is always relating to actually your own journey. So I shared this before, but my insight that everyone is already awakened, we just are not all the time conscious of it. That insight, that really just freed myself for a lot of block I had within myself, for a lot of emotions that felt stuck about not feeling good enough. That insight of my purpose and seeing that mirror, that actually in the fact that, but that's already the case for everyone, so also including me, was a huge growth moment for me. So if you are looking at your purpose or vision or your focus, that what I've been talking about in the past 7 days, try to really embody it by seeing it in other people, and then feeling it that, but if I see it in other people, that's also a reflection of myself. That's what I'm actually embodying myself. That's actually what I am already, but it has been covered up because of my identified pains that I couldn't see for myself. So then embrace the gifts that you have, embrace the qualities that you have, embrace the beautiness that you have. If you can see it in others, see it in yourself as well. Open up to that, because otherwise you would not be able to see it in others so well. And it might feel for now like, no, but the other one is always better, or I'm not good enough, or some kind of, not literally like that, but some kind of tension might come up, or insecurity might come up. But that's just an old energy. That's just this old programming, which is somewhere still stuck in your system. So really start to, and if your theme or your focus or your purpose is about empowering people, then you probably already have that frequency very strongly in yourself. Otherwise, you're not so related to it, not so connected to it. it really tells something about actually what the passion is you wanna have for yourself as well. So I hope this helps to open up, and please keep sharing with me, even if it's one-on-one through Messenger or WhatsApp, whatever contact number you have from me. If you don't want to share it in the group, share it with me. What your vision is, or your purpose is, or your focus is. So I might be able to just slightly rephrase it to really get this flow of energy opening up within you. And sometimes it's just a different way of phrasing it is enough to already seeing it differently, feeling it differently. And secondly, really, really focus on that journey within, that connecting with the self. Because that really is where your power comes from, your solidness and your trust in life. And that really is what does the trick. So I'm going to leave it here for now, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye.